Okay. Sorry, guys, that took a little bit. I'm not really sure what was going on, but was not able to jump in right away. So let's see here, live chat. Perfect. All right. Just went over to share this, and if you are just jumping on here, go ahead. If you would hit that thumbs up button so I know you're here, and if you would also go take this and go share it onto your social pages so we can get more people in here. So tonight we're talking about gut health, why it's so important. I've got my water, drinking something healthy there. And let's see. Okay. Awesome. Thanks, Wild. How are you? Hey, Mandy just put a message in here. Did you see that? She heard from Howie. So that's great news. We're waiting to, she said she'll jump back in here. So waiting to hear back. And thank you so much for sharing the live and getting more people on here. So again, make sure you hit that thumbs up button so that I know you're here. And if you are coming onto this live and you aren't subscribed, make sure you're subscribing to the channel. I'm posting just about a video a day. Excuse me, I got a little behind last week, but I got more videos coming for you this week, so no worries. And just really building it out to give you an opportunity to find different things for health and wellness. So we talk about chiropractic, flexibility, mobility, nutrition, and it all is part of the big picture. And when I first became a chiropractor 25 years ago, I came in and I adjusted everybody. And you heard from Howie too? Oh my gosh, yes! Oh my God, that's such great news. So for anybody who doesn't know, our friend Howie, he owns Food Forest Permaculture. That's his channel. And we haven't seen him. And rumor had it that he died. And we're all like super sad and going to do something for Earth Day for him because I guess he does something for Earth Day every year. And so now maybe Howie can do an Earth Day thing. So I hope he's okay. And what did he say? Where has he been? Is he okay? Was he in the hospital? Clearly without social media. So Howie's got some great videos over on his channel. So Food Forest Permaculture, and it's not he doesn't have a big yard, but he's growing so many cool things on his property. And, he juices everything and, just trying to be super healthy. And so it's just neat to follow him. He knows a lot about soil, things that you can plant, what you shouldn't plant, and really great channel to follow. So go over there and give him a follow. In fact, let me go grab let's make sure we give him some love while we're here. So I'll drop his link into the comments and you guys can go follow him. And I'll bet he'll be happy to get back online. Let's see. There we go. And there we go. Okay, here we go. Okay, so I also noticed he's got at Food Forest Permaculture behind his name on his YouTube channel. And I don't know how to do that. I got to Google that. I know you can do it on your other channels, but I can't do it on this one. So I'll have to figure that out. Still learning YouTube, you guys. So thanks for being patient. So today we're talking about gut health and why it's so important. Excuse me, going back, I realized very quickly into practice within the first couple of years of practice that I could adjust people, I could give them exercises, but if I did not help them with their nutrition and their lifestyle and get them, drinking water and not living a toxic lifestyle, eating and drinking food that wasn't good for them. So I was actually just on the phone with a friend of mine before I went live, and he said he was going out to get carry out for his family. And I said, "Where are you going?" He goes, "You don't want to know." And then I hear like the, I go, "You're going through a drive-through for real?" I go, there's no part of drive-through that's healthy. So anyway, I had to give him a hard time over that one. But it's things like that. It's just making those decisions to have something better, to make sure that you're always putting something good into your body. And we really want to make sure that what we eat is either going to kill us or heal us. And, there was a commercial years ago, and I think it was for an oil. I don't know if it was an oil filter or like car oil. I can't remember exactly specifically, but it was back in the 80s. And their tagline was, "You can pay for it now or you can pay for it later." Meaning if you didn't put the right kind of oil in your car or oil filter, might have been both, but that eventually your car would suffer, and you could either pay a little bit more now or you could pay more later. And that's really how your health is that, do you want to pay now or do you want to pay later for it? Because the bills, the medications, the hospital bills, the doctor's visits, all the supportive care that has to come along with being sick is insane. I mean, people literally go broke through medical bills. So we really want to help you avoid going down that path. Smoking wild, and sugar, cutting it out now, and you have cut back for. Oh, good, okay. Listen, you gotta start somewhere, and smoking. I will always say, smoking's like it's the worst of all of it, and I know that. And addiction is probably, whether it's, smoking or prescription medications, whether it's food addiction, exercise addiction, addictions come in many different shapes and sizes. And so we have to recognize that as well. And the other thing too, with addiction is that a lot of gut issues, you start healing that up because it's, addiction is it's brain. And again, there's the gut-brain connection. So if we can get you to have a super healthy gut, we can probably help the neurotransmitters in your brain so that you're not hitting those sites in your brain that want you to have the whatever your poison is. Berries with yogurt, not adding any sugar. Oh yeah, for sure. I do a coconut yogurt that's so good, and chocolate, tiny. I had a tiny bit of sugar and a quarter teaspoon. Yeah. Hey, I got to show you these snacks that I got today from Whole Foods. Hold on. Okay, I'm going to show you a couple of things. So this is actually a coconut yogurt that I found that is amazing. I really should be a spokesperson for them because I tell all my patients about this. It literally tastes like whipped cream, but it has organic coconuts, spring water, organic vegetable fiber, organic cassava root, organic vanilla extract, organic vanilla, or organic chamomile, and vegan probiotic culture. So there's no sugar in it, but it's naturally sweetened because of the coconut. And I mean, it's so, I don't know if you can see that. It's so good. It's thick. Like it doesn't even come out. It's so good. And with some berries, yeah. And if I'm having a little sweet tooth, I'll drizzle a little bit of maple syrup on top. So good. Part of the brain injury. Yeah. So again, even with brain injury, yeah, if you can get your gut health, because that's your foundation, is making sure your gut is in order. So that helps all the healing in your body. And especially if you have a brain injury or any kind of injury, but the brain itself, you've got to make sure that your body is absorbing the proper nutrients. You have to make sure that your gut knows how to process those nutrients. So you're maximizing everything you're getting from your diet. And if you're getting everything from, that you want from your diet, and then I'm a firm believer in supplementation because, we can be growing everything we want on our own property. eating organic, but we're still not going to get the nutrients we need. So I'm a firm believer that you should be supplementing with even just some basic supplements, a multivitamin with phytonutrients, and then some fish oil, vitamin D, and a good probiotic that you rotate through regularly. You don't want to be taking the proper probiotic. Don't want to be taking the same probiotic all the time. Pre-diabetic. Oh yeah, didn't you? I think you said that last time. Not too worried, or maybe you commented. What is pre-diabetic 7? I remember you saying that. I can't remember if you had posted that to a video. Drink this fresh cow's milk. Yeah. So are you getting raw milk? Because yeah, I mean, raw milk has all the enzymes in it. It's completely intact, not like, traditional milk, that's just completely stripped of everything. So, I wanted to show you my snacks. So this is, this brand is Human brand. I should get I should be, see if I can become an affiliate for these guys too. I'm going on a trip this week. And so I actually bought 3 bags of these to take with me. But it's so good. So it doesn't have, no refined sugar, no cane sugar, no sugar alcohols, no dairy, no gluten, no lecithins, no palm oil, and no shiny glaze. So the additives is what gives that shiny glaze. And the ingredients themselves are, so this is organic almonds, organic cacao, organic unrefined coconut sugar. And coconut sugar is a 0-calorie natural sugar, much like stevia. And then organic cocoa butter and sea salt. So let me show you. They're so good. Oh my gosh. Okay. So, and you can see it's just, and it's like barely coated with any chocolate, but just enough to hit that craving. Oh my God, so good. And then this is these are cashews. So same thing, only in cashew format. So really great snacks. Again, they're not cheap, but I love that brand because it's clean. It doesn't have any additives from a chocolate perspective. And it's really, really good chocolate. I have a hazelnut butter filled chocolate bar up there also from these guys. So I like chocolate too. I don't eat it a ton, but when I do, I want good high quality. I'll take a couple of bites, and it really just suits that craving. So, your blood work number was 7 for blood sugar for average last 3 months. Okay, got it. Okay. But is that your A1C? Is that what you're talking about? Because your blood sugar would be up in 80s or something. So that's probably your A1C would be my guess, if that's what you're saying. It's expensive to eat good, but it's so important. Okay, so that's a great point. So it's expensive to eat well. And this is, I've had this conversation before, is that we can do this literally on a budget. So there's a couple of things. If we go to the environmental working group, let me go over here, and they have, so this consumer guide, you're going to have to get onto their list, but you're going to want to be on their list because they have such great, continue to cite. They have great information on here. A lot of the information that I teach on, because they're doing research constantly. And so a lot of the information that I'll bring you could come from them as well. I'm just going to drop this. And then when you go to their site, this will pop up. So, hey, Big Steve, how are you? Nice to see you. Hey, Ken, you're in Daytona Beach. Yes. Oh my gosh. Bring some sunshine back to Detroit. My gosh. Yes. Yeah. So Ken I was telling Ken's story. He was eating sliced apples from he was working offsite somewhere, and he didn't have access to good food. So he was buying sliced apples from a convenience store, and it actually made him sick. It gave him vertigo. So, even chemicals, even if you're trying to buy an apple and be healthy, they're, just paying attention to those things, because it's really easy to not think that those things are affecting you. And, one person might be able to eat those apples and another person might, and it's all because of the bacteria that's in each person's gut. So we want to have this diversity of bacteria in our gut. And the reason for that is because, you've got to be able to break down and assimilate or absorb specific nutrients. And the more diverse your terrain is, the healthier it's going to be. The more you're going to get out of your food. The more narrow, an apple a day cut up is not what it's. Yeah. So I did a video. Hey, Iron Fryer, how are you? Thanks for being here. I did a video, a couple of months ago on apples, and like today's apple, you would have to eat 40. I think it was 40 of them to get the same nutrition in the same apple like 50 years ago. And that's because of how depleted our soils are. So we've got to make sure that we're fixing our gut now. Toxins are everywhere. So this is going to be, please let's hit the like for, thanks, Big Steve. Appreciate it. And listen, Wild, if you can't digest grains, a lot of people that, she's been wheat free for 5 years. So, a lot of people that can't digest or that have chronic health issues, I take them off grain, I take them off dairy, I take them off gluten. And so the most basic place to start is an elimination diet, just like that. And if I could narrow it down, there's so many different diets that people want to chase these days. And all diets are good for somebody, but they're not good for everybody. So, I had done keto. The reason I do all these different diets is because I have to know, number one, what are my patients doing? How's it going to affect them? If I'm going to put them on a specific program, I have to be able to know what the experience is. And I did keto for about 6 weeks, and I wanted to kill somebody. So, and then, as I dug further into keto, keto's women, we function on a 28-day cycle. Men function on a 24-hour cycle. So a lot of these programs are really great for men, not great for women. They've been studied in men, not, women are understudied on a lot of the studies. So it's really important to pay attention to that. Is that, okay, what do the studies show? Does it work for a man? Is it working for your neighbor? Doesn't mean it's going to work for you. So you have to figure out what's going to work for you. And then my first focus is let's just number one, we start with a little bit of elimination. So gluten and dairy. Number two, we start adding things. So fresh water. So many people come in and they've got constipation, and they don't poop but every 2, 3, 4 days. How much water do you? I don't drink water. I don't like water. Well, you have to like water. There's no, you have to like water. This is what flushes everything through. And on occasion, I'll make somebody drink more water, and that will start the process. But if you've done that your whole life, your gut is damaged, and we have to go in there strategically. So think about this when it comes to gut health. Is we start with elimination. So we're going to eliminate the highest inflammatory or allergenic categories, which are going to be gluten and dairy. And then, as I think it was Wild, is that what you said about not being able to eat grain? Yeah. So wild edibles can't eat grains, and been wheat free over 5 years. So a lot of people, when I do food sensitivity panels with them, it'll come back and it'll show that, we need to take these people off of grains as well. So I'll whittle it down. If you're really sick, I'm going to put you on some high quality grass-fed beef, organic chicken, fish, just some really good high quality proteins, some healthy fats, avocados, olive oil, coconut oil, just some good healthy fats like that, and vegetables, like all the vegetables you want. Now we have to hope that, you're not going to have some kind of sensitivity to the vegetables. So we have to be a little bit mindful of that. So, but oftentimes when we start there, I got a thing popping up on me here. Oftentimes when we just start with a basic elimination, the ancestral diet, yeah. I mean, it's meat, right? So fruit, veggies, milk, and fats with lots of meat. Right now, less meat before. Yeah. And so sometimes too, like people who have oxalate issues, this is another part of gut health is that, you know, if you have any kind of gut issue, let's just start there. So, so first of all, the conversation tonight, I'll do the basic, disclaimer is that, this is no way is meant to be medical advice as much as just meant to be informational. And so you take the information that we're going to talk about tonight and you find yourself an expert, somebody like me who practice functional medicine, so, somebody else who maybe is in your area. I do Zoom. I take care of people via Zoom. So, we can always set you up for consultations that way and take care of you via Zoom. I have an online store if we need supplements. So there's always ways to handle clients from around the country. So, so as we talk about this, just know that, each and every one of you is going to be a little bit different. So I'm going to speak a little bit in generalities. And so, so essentially like if you have any kind of autoimmune issue, constipation, diarrhea, if you've had cancer, if you have eczema, skin issues, a lot of people have the bumps on the back of their arms, sign of food allergies, food sensitivities. If you have chronic sinusitis, you're constantly congested, or maybe it's just seasonal, or if you are somebody who takes, medication every day, like an antihistamine of some sort, you absolutely have a gut problem. If you take a daily baby aspirin and other medications, you absolutely have a gut problem. First of all, we are all adulterated with chemicals. We talked last week, I think it was last week or the week before, about all the PFAS, the high chemicals, the forever chemicals in our water. So unless you have a reverse osmosis system or some other really high quality system that's going to filter that out, and even if you are on a well, your water can be contaminated with PFAS. So we've got to be aware that we can eat as clean as we want, but we're still going to be hit with chemicals. So I think it was it the explosion in Japan of one of their nuclear reactors. Was it 1991? I got to look up the exact date. Anyway, the cadmium levels went into the air and they spread all across the country. And there's a correlation. We talked about correlation, not necessarily meaning causation, but there was a correlation with miscarriages were the highest they ever were that following year. And it correlated with the cadmium. So we have to recognize that these toxins are damaging our gut. And so we have to take care of what we can right in our own environment. So oxalate, high veggies are hard, and nightshades too. So, what are oxalates? Let's talk about that too, because quit nightshades. Oh yeah. So yeah, I mean, that's the thing, like iron fire, I don't live in your body, right? So if you have to take painkillers, then the question becomes, what do we do with your gut to offset the damage from the painkillers, right? So there's specific probiotics, prebiotics. You have to get your gut as healthy as you possibly can, because every time you take one of those, it's wiping out the good terrain in there. And that gets it. So we say it does if you just have a bit stiff neck. Talking about with the oxalates, I had pain meds from the doctor. I'm not allowed to quit the one because it's brain meds. Yeah, so you need to work on your gut. So in the face of if you like Iron Fire says, I don't feel any gut problems. That's really common too. So a lot of people who, let's just say they have sinus issues, they don't feel that, they're like, oh, my gut is fine. And they have daily bowel movements. But again, it's an absolute correlation and a causation. Poor gut health leads to communicates with the brain, and it causes chronic sinusitis. So what essentially happens is when you've got the improper bacteria in your gut, is it sends toxic signals to the brain, and those toxic signals can affect everything that works up in here. So pardon me. So you may not feel like you have gut issues, but that's why if you have other things, autoimmune, thyroid, the rashing that we talked about, the psoriasis, the eczema, if you have chronic bladder infections, yeast infections, even if you're somebody who has toenail fungus, that's a sign that you have an overgrowth of candida in your gut, which is a yeast infection in your gut. If you get sick a lot, if you are pre-diabetic or diabetic, those are all signs that you have an altered gut microbiome. I'm just guys, they want to go up. Yeah. Max amount for big. Yeah. Yeah. How big are you? Wild. So the first place to start is a elimination diet. And so that's part of the battle. And I think, we talked about this before, but I think it's worth repeating, is that oftentimes people will say, I went on, we see it in the chat, and I'm going to talk about oxalates in a minute, is that people say, I did gluten-free, I did dairy-free, and it didn't do anything. And the problem is that, oftentimes when I work with people, they've had these issues going on for many years. They'll give up gluten and dairy for maybe a month or, 6 weeks, maybe a week. It depends. You've got a lifetime of garbage, and then you're going to give something up for a week or two and then say it doesn't work. And again, it's only part of the battle, because if your microbiome is altered, you have to come in and you have to strategically kill some of those bugs. So I did a video on drinking apple cider vinegar. You guys can go onto the main page and watch that. I just did that. Oh my gosh, you're tiny. Yes, healthy, except all my broken backbones. How'd you break your back? Oh, The Yeast Connection. That's a great book, actually. Yeah. Hard to give it up for a whole month, which is what you need. Yeah, exactly. So you've got to be able to come in, and part of the reason that it's hard to give up is because the yeast in your gut, the bugs in your gut, they tell your brain what they want to eat. And so that's why strategically and concomitantly you're eliminating and you're coming in and you're killing with strategic nutrients. So one of the things that I use to kill some of these bugs is iron fire. That sounds awful. I'm glad you're here to chat about it. Yeah. So one of the things that I use high dose aromatic essential oils, oregano, rosemary, and then I alternate that with berberine hydrochloride works really well as also, and you want to rotate these through, because they're like antibiotics, but they're antifungal and antiviral, and so you can't just take them constantly. The other thing that works really well is silver. So if you have liquid silver, you could do, there's a whole protocol with liquid silver, and I probably just need to do a video on that, but you need to, if you're going to take silver, it's got to be in higher doses for gut killing. And then you got to take aloe with it, and you've got to take some B vitamins, because the silver can bind your B vitamins, and it can deplete you in some other ways. So I think I'm gonna make a note to do a video for you guys on that one, because that'll be really that's a good helpful way. And you can make your own silver. Just finding this out, actually. So I'll be trying that. You'll see that. Let's see, silver. Protocol. Okay, so let's talk about oxalates. So if you have an oxalate issue, and what oxalates are is they are little tiny crystals that form. They're naturally occurring in plants, and so it's a plant's defense mechanism to have these little crystals. So if a bug comes along and eats the plant, then these crystals, these oxalate crystals. And if you're somebody who suffers from kidney stones, you absolutely have an oxalate issue, especially if they tell you that they're oxalate stones. So you've got to get the greens out of your diet. And oftentimes, people will say, they'll go, yeah, but I drink my green smoothies every day. I don't know how I have stones. Well, because you've got an issue with oxalates, and these crystals cannot process. You're supposed to actually poop them out. Now, if you know you have oxalates, or you know you have uh, kidney stones, if you have a history of kidney stones or bladder stones, one of the simplest ways is taking calcium citrate. You could take a couple of tabs of calcium citrate with every meal, and that'll bind whatever's in the, whatever's in your food. It'll bind the oxalates and in the colon, so you poop them out. So, so you could try that. And I've had people who are in chronic pain, and they start taking just this calcium citrate with each meal. There's some other protocols there, but again, simple places for you guys to start that are fine for anybody to do. Need more water than coffee. Yeah. I mean, so water is at least half of your body weight in ounces. And then if you're having coffee, because it's a diuretic, you've got to eat, have more. I love my greens, but ouch, I passed one before they found it. Oh, a stone, yet a stone. And Iron Fire says, I can't do the whole smoothie thing. Oh my gosh, I love my smoothies. I do smoothies almost daily. But I do a lot of powders, and I put like collagen in it, and I put coconut milk and some like chai spices. Yeah, my smoothies. I put organic cacao in there. I put a little bit of powdered mushroom complex. And yeah, I'm like jazzed up when I do my smoothies. So let's see, can't do the whole smoothie. Okay. Vitamin D and K together with Cal and Mag combo is important too. Yes, exactly. And make sure that you're taking your vitamin D in the morning. So is that an all combined? Are all those combined? Is your D and K separate from your Cal Mag? Because the Cal Mag, if it's separate and you take that at night, that'll actually help with sleep. And then the D and K should be taken during the day. So think of D. D is your sunshine vitamin. And so if you're taking D at night before you go to bed, it's going to suppress your melatonin. And so melatonin is supposed to start coming up at night so that you can get tired and go to sleep. Like right now it's 6:35. If this was winter and we hadn't turned the clocks yet, then what would be interesting is that I would probably start to get tired right now. Like I'd be like, oh yeah, I gotta go to bed because my melatonin is going to start to come up, and my my cortisol's going down. So if you take D at night, you're actually going to suppress melatonin from coming up, so you can go to sleep. And it's actually one of the most common things that I've had people do is just switch from taking D at night to during the day, and they start sleeping better. So if we move into sleep real quick. So, all right, if you know you have an issue with oxalates, there's a simple way to test for it. It's a urine test. It's called an organic acids test. You can probably get, I know you can order a lot of tests on your own these days. I order it through a lab called Great Plains Laboratory. You probably need a doctor to order that test for you, but I'm not sure. But you could do an organic acids test and see where your oxalate levels run. And there is some on that test. It will tell you if you have issues with methylation, which methylation is a process that takes place in the liver. And it will tell you if you have issues with methylation, you're going to be deficient in certain nutrients as well. So and so what we do is, if we know you're a poor methylator, we give you methylated nutrients, and then your body can actually, like, we bypass those genetic pathways. And so that's the beauty of genetic medicine, through functional medicine, is that we can look at all these different things and say, yeah, okay, well, your gut probably isn't working properly. If you're on acid blockers, you're dropping your B vitamins, and you're a poor methylator, you're not getting any B vitamins, which is important for your brain health. So, so the other thing, let's see. So the other thing too is, if you think you have an oxalate issue, then you've got to really cut back on the greens, because they're going to be super high in ox. So, no more kale, no more spinach. Dear God, if somebody told me I couldn't eat kale, I would die. But this is really common for people that are like, oh my God, I'm eating my spinach, puts a big handful of spinach every day. I love kale. I used to eat kale every single day until I found out years ago about all this issue with oxalates, because if you eat the same food over and over every day, you can actually create a sensitivity to it. So that, again, that's creating that diversity of the foods that you're eating and trying to heal your gut as much through food as possible. Let's see, take vitamin D and calcium, magnesium in the morning. Yeah. But is your calcium and magnesium, you have D and K with your yogurt, chocolate for what's the it's a chocolate magnesium supplement. You take vitamin D. So take that at night. So your body likes to be more acid during the day, and it likes to be more alkaline at night. And the magnesium and the calcium and magnesium they're more alkaline. And so again, it's going to help with sleep. It's going to help with pain, relaxation. And when you don't sleep properly, it actually throws off your blood sugar. And when you throw off your blood sugar, you have more cravings. You're going to tend to, go eat more sugar, especially if you're diabetic. We want to make sure that we're controlling that. But the higher your blood sugar is, the more pain and the more inflammation you're going to have that's going to drive pain. So if you're somebody who has chronic pain, eat cabbage and a lot of broccoli. Do you ever ferment those? Because you can ferment cabbage and broccoli, and that's actually a really good probiotic as well. Let's see. So Wild says, explain that I have a type of arthritis that's taking from my bones or something. There's a cycle. I'm not putting everything together. Can you be more specific? What is the arthritis? You were the greens lover. I can eat some beet tops, but I can't do it over and over. Beet greens are like a huge Lebanese delicacy. That was my weird Lebanese. My mom cooked beet greens and sauteed beet greens and onions. Oh my God, we had it. It was probably, we had it weekly, and just shove it in a piece of Syrian bread. And yeah. Oh, you make your own chocolate. Okay, that's cool. I want to make my own chocolate. Probably don't have enough variety in your diet. Feel a lot better. So vary it as much as you can. And this is the other thing too. This could be, if you can't do vegetables, this is where the carnivore diet comes in pretty darn handy, right? So, and I'm not going to sit here and pretend to be a carnivore expert by any means. But this is why sometimes there's things out there for somebody who can't do, if you have a serious oxalate issue, if you have a genetic oxalate issue, and I've seen oxalates off the charts on the test, you can't put people on vegetables. You just can't. So you have to find fiber in other ways. You have to be very creative with people's diets. And of course, then taking the calcium citrate helps. You make your own chocolate. Wait, where did I see that? A tablespoon of fresh butter, quarter teaspoon of brown sugar, and 3 teaspoons of cocoa. Well, that sounds pretty darn good. And then is that just a chocolate sauce then? Grow your own meat as much as you can. Yeah. So I know I actually just gave up my reign as president of my subdivision for 7-8 years. I don't even know. I lost count. And I'm on a half acre, and I'm like, I think I could put a couple chickens out there. I don't think anybody's going to give me a hard time. So I'm literally going to turn my backyard into a food forest. So always feel better when you eat all meat and fish, but can't afford it. If I'm really feeling like crap, I'll do it just to give me a good kick in the butt. Listen, what's cheap too is organ meat. Don't be afraid to eat organ meat. I mean, it's so high in B vitamins. It's high in iron. Again, we grew up on chicken livers. My mom made what's called sweetbreads, which I think is like the glands from is it from a lamb? I think it's from the lamb. Anyway, we grew up eating organ meats, and again, I always say my mom dropped dead at 86 years old. She was healthy, super healthy. So, there's something to organ meats as well. So, and organ meats are, you can get chicken livers for cheap. But here's the thing. If you're buying organ meats, you do want to try to buy those organically. So I will backpedal a little bit on that, because especially the liver is the filtration, it's the toxic filtration organ. And so you don't want to just buy livers from any chicken. If you know of anybody like a local farmer, a lot of times, there's a local farmer here that I get my chicken from. Nobody wants the chicken feet and nobody wants the organ meat. And I'm like, I will take all of it. If you can get a hold of some chicken feet, again, super inexpensive. Find a local farmer, because people they don't see the value in the chicken feet, chicken or turkey feet. Take those feet, throw them into a big pot of boiling water with onions, garlic. You could throw greens in there. I might even throw like a half of an acorn squash to add some sweetness in there, some jalapeno peppers, and just let it boil for hours. And the gelatinous substance that comes out, or the gelatin that comes out of the feet, it is so healthy for your gut. So that's another super inexpensive way for you to heal your gut. Think of bone broth, which, I'll just say the chicken feet broth. Think of that as it's like putting aloe on a sunburn. So your gut is so compromised, and you've got these little microvilli, and they get compromised, right? So that they end up shortening. This is how we get all the surface area in our gut, so we can absorb all the nutrients. But what happens through food sensitivity and poor gut health is they shorten. And some people, like even people who have autism, they have like no microvilli, and so they have almost zero absorption. People who have celiac don't have much microvilli either, and so it takes a lot to try to heal that kind of a gut. Well, when you drink this broth, it actually it starts to heal. It's like spackle. It heals up the leaks in the gut. It helps the nutrients go in. They help to restore the terrain. So, short of taking a supplement, probiotic or prebiotic, that's another great way to help heal your gut without having to take extra supplementation. Magnesium in cocoa and squash. I know I keep organic cacao, and again, I throw that into my smoothies, and I love it because there's all kinds of minerals in the cacao. You could even throw a pinch of good high quality sea salt in there too. And to your point, Iron Fire, I always feel better when I eat meat and fish. I'm a meat girl. I have a pack of local lake perch thawing out and a pound of grass-fed beef, because I don't know which one I'm gonna make for dinner tonight, and I figure they'll be thawed and I'll have it for tomorrow too. But I couldn't be vegan. I don't do well without meat. I feel really good when I eat meat. Where would you pay $15 for a cucumber? Is that even growing your own meat? Yeah, it can be expensive. I think like the inputs to grow your own meat to get started, for sure, once you're up and running. But yeah. And of course, you guys, it's March 19th. So we're coming into farmers market season. And so this is the opportunity to go buy fresh fruits and vegetables. I'm going to challenge all of you to do a 7-day sugar cleanse. I'm actually going out of town this week, and I'm thinking I'm just going to do a sugar cleanse, because I think I need to pay attention to, like, when I made my smoothie today, I put like a couple teaspoons of maple syrup in there. Again, high in minerals, but I don't think I eat a lot of sugar, but I think it's, I'm not somebody who has cravings, but I think it's important to pay attention to what we're eating. And so I'm probably going to lead a sugar cleanse. So I'll let you guys know when I get back. I'm trying to think what time I get back on Sunday. Hopefully I'll be able to be here live next week. So I'll keep you posted. So $15 cucumber. Organic farm co-ops. Yeah. Well, I mean, you are no healthier, but you don't really know. It's one of those things where it's like, if you have 2 glasses of water and one's from the municipal water that has all the PFAS in it, and one's filtered water. You can't see the difference. And so, it's just, sometimes it's just better to have a certain practice, discipline. So, Essen is better. Yeah, exactly. A battery operated cucumber. Oh my God. For $15, it should be. Yeah, organic is used loosely these days. So certified organic, you can't be certified organic if you have contamination. But yeah, okay, so you have autism and celiac. Yeah, so Iron Fire, you've got the double whammy going. So that's what I would encourage you to do. Do the the bone broth, I think, would be great for you. Oh, great, Wild, thank you. I'm so glad you're enjoying it. Yeah, so Iron Fire, you got rid of so many problems, including anxiety and depression. That's awesome. That's amazing. Yeah. And that goes along with the gut health. And so this is why, like, that's one of the reasons that we have got to fix our gut health, because it just leads to long-term problems. And anxiety and depression is a struggle, right? It's like, nobody wants to feel like that. And oftentimes it can consume you. It feels uncontrollable. And so the healthier your gut is, the healthier your brain will be. And then you'll feel like you're more in control of those issues. Up in Ontario, Canada, 10 years ago. Boy, God, really? The farmers markets aren't great over there? Oh my gosh. You're not far. Like, we're over in the Detroit area. So you're like, I mean, Ontario is pretty big, so I shouldn't say that, but it's not like you're in Western Canada. Yeah, your son, let's see, vegetarian, my son was, but I cooked his veggies in roast water. Ooh, yum. That sounds really good. Yes, exactly. I've been learning about food. Yeah. You were sick as a dog, diarrhea, upset stomach all the time. Yeah. So, okay. So autism, celiac, irritable bowel, like celiac and irritable bowel go hand in hand. And then, of course, autism, there's an absolute connection to autism and gut issues. So you have all of them. And so, you essentially, I don't want to say you don't have three different diagnoses, but it's kind of like, who cares about the diagnosis? They're all related. So, do what little you can to try to heal that. And that's what I'm saying too. I think you could probably find some chicken feet local and make a good broth. And then what I do is I put them into mason jars, and I leave the lid off, and I put them in the freezer. So because then they're going to expand. And then once they're frozen, I put the lid back on. And then you just, pull it out and, let it thaw out, and you've got your broth. So, and it's, oh my gosh, it's so good. It's a meal. It really is a meal. Let's see. It's okay to have leeks in the driveway at organic farms too. I'm not trying to put that. Yeah. Eating high quality organic food. And I was so sick. You did vegetarian or vegan. Yeah. I met a woman the other day. And she said, well, I'm a vegan. She was telling me how she loves Mediterranean food. And she was, I could tell she was very sick. She then told me she was diabetic. She was incredibly overweight. Her skin did not look good. I mean, it was all of the things. So there's a lot of unhealthy vegans, and there's a lot of skinny people who are, we call it skinny fat, right? So we have got to get to this root cause of getting the gut healthy, so we can just fix you metabolically. Let's see. My garden was as organic as I can get, so as I don't use all organic produce in my compost. Yeah. For my animals when they were there, so not organic. Yeah. And the unfortunate part of that is you're going to get, overspray from your neighbors, or from, reactor explosions in Japan. Yeah, so there's absolutely, Iron Fire. There's absolutely, between the food system, and all the toxins, it does affect the gut. especially for autism. So you want to help somebody with autism. You can do bentonite clay, or there's other chelators that you can use. Diatomaceous earth, make sure it's food grade. That's a really good chelator. If you take anything like that, you want to, and diatomaceous earth is actually really good for parasites as well. So if you're somebody who, if you think you have parasites, and which actually, iron fire, that might not be a bad idea too, to look into seeing, do you have parasites too? Because then, if the gut is so altered, there's different levels. So you start off with candida, which is a yeast infection in your gut, and then it moves to SIBO, which is small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, which means that the bacteria from one part of your gut has migrated to another. So it's not bad, it just needs to not be where it's at. And then you've got oxalates piled on, and then eventually you get parasites. So it's this cascade of things. And so if you're somebody who has been really sick for a long time, then looking into testing yourself for parasites is actually a really great way to see like how far upstream you need to go. Because super common, people will say, oh, well, I tried, we talked about earlier, I did gluten-free, or I did this cleanse, or I did that cleanse. But, again, those different layers, if it didn't go upstream far enough, then you're never going to get it. But if you know how far upstream to go, and then you treat it from there, now you can take everything with it. And so that's what's really important to know. And again, diatomaceous earth is a really simple way to, you get it at a local feed store. Because I gave it to my dog for years, and I still occasionally give it to them because they're rooting around in the grass, and it actually helps too, especially with your animals with if fleas. I only had one dog that ever had fleas, but you want to be concerned about getting flea bites and then larvae, and so I would give him that put it in his food every day. And so that helped clear out the parasites. But if you're using diatomaceous earth, make sure you're supplementing. Don't take it with your supplements, and then make sure you're supplementing, because diatomaceous earth is going to bind a whole lot of things, including the bad stuff. So then you want to, put the good stuff back in. Let's see. So yeah, bone broth is good. Iron Fire Wild. I was in town too, so it's close to too many roads. Can't be. Oh yeah, organic, right? Hey, and you know what? Listen, don't think that you're a failure. I mean, you're doing what you're doing, right? I mean, you have to be proud of what you're doing. None of us are perfect. None of us are going to be perfect, and you can only do so much. So, without going, completely crazy. I mean, I did cloth diapers on my daughter when we talked about this a little bit last week. And I was like, I'm going to do cloth diapers. I'm a single mom. I've been single mom since day one. It was the hardest freaking job on the planet. And I was like, I can't do it. Like, there's only so much I could do. So, I used regular diapers. I know that went into a landfill, but I alternated with cloth. You do what you can do. I'm not here to tell anybody that you need to be perfect in everything you do, because the truth is, we just can't. We're working against so many things in our environment, and that's why too, you can't just also shake yourself upside down to change this, right? You can't just quit smoking tomorrow. I mean, some people can, but I think the majority of people can't. But that's why too. That's why I wanted to come in and just talk about long-term effects of poor gut health, because there is long-term effects, and it does lead to other diseases. And so I want all of you to be healthy, so you can live a really good long life where you feel good, and you don't have chronic pain, and you're thinking clearly, and you're sleeping well, and you have great relationships, and you're moving well, and you just feel incredible. So but again, if you're having issues, that doesn't happen overnight. So start somewhere. And again, I love putting out there, get the broth on deck. I think that's a great place to start. Let's see, where did I leave off here? I had anaphylaxis eating watermelon at an amusement park. Oh my gosh. Oh, the autistic feeling of impending doom was actually an anaphylactic thing. Oh my gosh. Geez. Oh my God. Watermelon is such a magical fruit too. Goodness. That's the cascade thing. You're trying to get better and you feel something, but man, yeah. So, also recognize too, that if you do start eliminating, you could easily, you can easily get a dump in your body. So this is why if people have oxalate issues, do not go on a low oxalate diet, because your body will release all those oxalates from the tissues and you will feel like absolute garbage. So you have to go slowly into these things. And so, again, just baby steps. Some people can do big steps, but baby steps. So what do you have? Diatomaceous earth, dust bath, but outside, not in the coop. It's dusty, can cut up the lung tissue. Yeah. And, Epsom salt baths too, super helpful for getting toxins out of the body. So, 20 minutes in a hot Epsom salt bath for, and I would say, like, especially if you have like chronic issues, at least 1.5 cups to 2 cups of Epsom salt. I'm still, I think we can't remember if I mentioned this before, but the ice water baths, they're fun, they're cool, everybody's doing them. Winter's here. I do not do anything cold in the winter, and the problem too is that we hey Gemma, how are you? Gemma, we're talking about we had a conversation about autism and diet. You might want to chime in here too. But here's the thing: if you're going out and doing ice baths, but then you still have all these other things that need to be taken care of, you may not get the full benefit of the ice bath. So, and you could go try it. There's ways to do it properly. There's ways to not do it properly. Go look that up. And and I want to fry. I did I was in a yoga class today. It was 95, 100 degrees in there. That's where I thrive. My body feels really good. When I see the weather outside in the summer and it's going to be 90 degrees and 90% humidity, I'm like, I want to be on my mountain bike. I feel well oiled. I feel incredible. So it's not for everybody. It's just like anything, right? So there's so many things that are good for so many people, but not everything's good for everybody. So let's see who. Okay. So Iron Fire. Yeah, you're a single mom too. I know. Yeah, it's hard AF, isn't it? I think it's probably the most under. I don't want to say least rewarding, but it's rewarding at a certain point, but underappreciated. I'll say that. I think being a parent is pretty underappreciated. Then when you're a single parent, you don't get too many pats on the back. So you're in the fire. So you want to eat healthy, perfect food, but sometimes, yeah, exactly. It doesn't have to look perfect. So when I did my TED Talk, I said, listen, start today and start again tomorrow, because it's not going to be perfect. So one of the things too, Iron Fire, with smoking, are you vape smoking or actual like cigarettes? What are you smoking? Favorite foods have bad allergens. It's a crazy thing. I know now. Yeah. So at least you know what you have to avoid. And Iron Fire does Epsom salt baths. Gemma, so nice to see you. Hot bath for me. It's cold out. Yeah. I know. I'm like, give me a hot bath for sure. And let's see. Can't do the cold bath thing. Exactly. That's why chatting them out is nice ideas. Yes. Yeah. No, I appreciate you. I appreciate you guys' input. And I appreciate the conversation, because these are just, these are questions that, so people are confused. They don't know where to start. They don't know how to start. They think that it's going to be, that you're not going to get any gains if you don't just, completely wipe out your cabinets. Tobacco. So you can't. Okay. So do you roll them yourself or you buy them? Because what I was going to say was, if it's regular, like cigarettes, 75% of the toxins are in the bottom 1/3 of the cigarette. So some people have been able to quit smoking by only smoking half of the cigarette, because you want to try to, again, get rid of the toxins. So I know you're like, oh my God, it's going to waste my money. But if you want to quit, and again, with with the cost of it, tobacco is expensive. So it'd be a good way to take that amount of money that you're spending and put it somewhere else. So I think as we start to distill this down, it's not easy doing it single. I get it. Yeah, you need to compromise sometime. Yep, for sure. So so my daughter's 18 now, 18 and a half, and she's almost out of the house. So my job will be over shortly, but I think you'll always be a mom, right? So tobacco's given to me, the cannabis costs. Yeah. So anyway, so as we go into gut health, so what I want you to do is, take a good look at what you have going on and what where's the best place for you to start. Sometimes it's just getting people to start drinking more water. Sometimes it's getting people to do a sugar detox. Sometimes it's getting people to quit smoking. Sometimes it's getting you to walk. If everybody could even just get up and move their bodies every day, 5-10 minutes a day. There's a lot of weight bearing exercises that you can do every day that would be really beneficial to helping your cardiovascular health, helping your strength. The more strength that you have, your muscles are actually very metabolically active and can actually improve your immune system. So we've got to have a healthy gut in order to make sure that we have a healthy immune system. It all ties in. So, we know that, people who got really sick from COVID, people who died from COVID, they all had comorbidities. And so, I want you all to be able to, if you have any kind of comorbidities, is let's reduce those as best as possible so that you'll be less likely to get it, catch any viruses, or if you do, it won't be very serious. So tending to animals, trying to stretch, stretching. And again, that's why I love yoga, because yoga is stretching, but it's time under tension, meaning like you're weight bearing, but you're stretching. So you're contracting, you're stretching, you're taking those joints and you're just compressing and opening and compressing and opening. It feels so amazing on the body. It does wonders for inflammation. So even if you can stream a yoga class a couple times a week, a lot of free stuff on YouTube. So go ahead and stream it and start doing that. It'll teach you how to breathe. It'll teach you how to, you'll start to get into your joints. You'll start to strengthen your muscles. So haven't looked so good in years. Yeah. Well, so Iron Fire, go ahead and you dance for an hour a day. Oh, you dance for oh, that's cool. Since last April. That sounds awesome. I love that. What kind of dancing do you do? Boy, if that doesn't make you happy, I used to do the Wii. My daughter and I used to do Wii every Saturday morning. We'd do the dance, Wii dance, whatever it was. We'd do it for an hour every Saturday morning. I was drenched and it was fun. And I was doing it with her, and we laughed, and it was good music, and it was always really good fun. So and so, to that point, you haven't looked so good in years. When we talk about skinny fat, there are people who are skinny and they don't look so good either, right? And you can tell, like, skin's falling off of them. You can always tell when people start eating better, they start exercising, is their skin changes, right? The skin tone clears up. They have, they almost glow, right? Their hair looks better. The eyes clear up, right? So it's just really important to start to piece together these things. So figure out what's going to work for you to get started. I want you to start with one good habit this week. So, I know this is about gut health, but if we take your habits today and we start to layer them on, we can eventually get to the gut. So, do you need to cut out sugar? Do you need to drink more water? Do you need to drink less coffee? Do you need to move your body? Do you need to breathe? What are the things that are going to impact you the most, so that you're going to stick with it? It's going to be something that, I could tell you, okay, go do 2 yoga classes a week. But, if that doesn't jive with you, you're not going to stick with it. So what's going to work for you? Pick one thing. And when we get on our live next week, let me check my, my flight schedule. I think I come back in the afternoon. Maybe I'll be live on here as I'm driving back to the house. Let's see. Um, oh, okay. So I arrive at 4:36. So all right. So keep an eye out for next week. I'm hoping to be here. I might just flip my phone on, and if I'm in the car driving home, I might just flip my phone on and just say hey to you guys. It'll probably just be like a random Q&A, ask me anything, which I think we're good. We could probably do that. It's my happy time, lol. I just do whatever I feel like, just moving. What kind of music do you like listening to? I love roller skating. It's supposed to be great. Weight bearing activity. Yeah. I mean, dancing's great. It brings joy. It gets you moving in many different directions. I feel like that's like that's like mind, body, soul. I love that. So yeah, so you found something, Iron, that makes you happy and brings you joy and moves your body. So just move your body. And when I check in next week, we will disco and yes. Oh my gosh. I was playing, I had a punk station on in the office, and oh my gosh, I'm trying to remember. Really great 80s punk band, 90s punk band. Oh my gosh, can't remember. And they're pretty well known for their raunchy lyrics, and personally I love it. But I was like, oh, this probably isn't the greatest music to be playing here in the office, so I had to go change it. Gemma's an Elvis fan. Yes, the king. Yeah, that's awesome. Well, great. All right, so you have an assignment for next week. What are you going to do? What is one thing you're going to do for next week? You don't have to tip yourself up on top of your head and shake your whole body out. But what is one thing you're going to do next week? And then you're going to check in with me. Let's see, 70s. I know, oh my gosh. Okay, so Michael Jackson could be like the greatest songs to roller skate to, right? And then Katy Perry came along, and she was also really fun to roller skate to also. Yeah. Drink more water and tea and less coffee. Awesome, Iron Fire. Great. Okay, so Iron Fire just dropped it in the chat. So what's everybody else going to do? Like, let me know what you're going to be doing here, and let's make that commitment. So yeah, I can't wait to see what progress you make for next week. So I'm gonna be sliding in hot. Okay, cook more healthier meals. Perfect, Emma. I love it. Awesome. Love it. Yeah. So seed oils. Last week we talked about seed oils. Get rid of that. Oh my God, Earth, Wind, and Fire and the Clash. Yes. Oh my God. Could they be two? They're so opposite. Love both of them, right? I saw Earth, Wind, and Fire twice in concert, maybe 3 times. I'll tell you a quick story. I was on the tram at Disneyland going from the parking lot to the park. And this woman gets on, and she's got her baby in a stroller and another young kid with her. About my daughter, I think, was maybe 4 at the time. And she says, oh, where are you from? I said, I'm from Detroit. This was in California. And she goes, oh, so we go to Detroit a lot. And I said, do you have family there? And she goes, no, my husband plays in a band. And I was like, oh, cool. I said, is it a local band? Like, maybe I've heard of them. And she says, no, he's the lead singer for Earth, Wind, and Fire. I said, so wait, your husband's Philip Bailey? She goes, yeah. I'm like, okay. So she gave me her phone number, got me front row tickets for 2 of the concerts, backstage passes. Greatest show I've ever seen. They're so good. Iron Fire, got a new cast iron teapot and a whistling kettle. Yeah, I need a new kettle. Love my cast iron pan. I only have one. It stays on the stove. We use it almost daily. So lucky. I know, right? I know, lucky her. Yeah. I was like, oh my God, are you kidding? She's like, oh yeah, my husband plays in a band. In a band. Really? Earth, Wind, and Fire is not a band, right? I mean, they're a freaking legend. So it was great. All right, you guys, I need to go have dinner. I should have eaten before I got on here. going to go eat something healthy. All right. I'll check in with you next week. Next week's just going to be like random Q&A. We're just going wild card for next week. Thanks, Iron Fire. Thank you all so much for being here. Hey, listen, apparently Howie is alive and well. So, drop some messages like, where's he been? What's he doing? Is he okay? Like, obviously he's okay because he's not dead. So we do have that. So that's good. All right, you guys, thanks so much for being here. I love your engagement, love your questions, love being here for you. So if there's anything I can do for you, any questions I can answer, shoot me a message because I'm here to bring information to you. And so if there's anything in particular you want me to talk about, that's why we're here. Okay. Good. I'm so glad, Iron Fire. So glad you jumped in. Much love to all of you. Okay. All right. See y'all soon. Bye.